Dear students, welcome to this module on functions of the front office department. As we all know, the hotel comprises the various departments, the major departments, namely front office department, housekeeping and food and beverage department. And among these departments, front office department is one of the important front of the house operations. And now in this module, we will be seeing the functions, what happens in this department as functions of the department. The front office is part of large division called accommodations or room division, and this is headed by a director accommodations and has many other services and supports the guests such as the bell desk, concierge, telecommunications, cashiering, the housekeeping services, information services, laundry, business center, all that requires coordination within the department and also with other departments. So, this module on the functions of the front office department will enable us to understand the task performed by the staff at the front office department and also describe the meticulous task of employees at this front desk operations. Okay, now let us go into this module. Small hotels may call the front office simply a hotel reception. All of us must have seen during our visits to hotels, and this is reported directly to the general manager and functions very simple. The front office, as the name suggests, is the first and the last point of contact for the guest, and its unique role is to sell hotel rooms through a systematic method of reservation, and revenue from the sale of these rooms contribute at least to 50% more to the hotel's profit, and in many cases such as motels, that is the food service operations situated on the national highways, and airport hotels which mainly take care of the airline passengers, are the main source of revenue to these type of services. And also this front office helps in registering the guests and assign rooms during the process of reservation. Is this the first and the last point of contact for the guest and has a visible role in creating the image for the property and also to provide high profit margins as cost of sales is very much low. The only variable cost for the guest suppliers and amenities that are very much consumable and perishable. Now let us look into the functions, exact functions, what happens in the front desk operations. The essential functions of the front office department, as I said earlier, is to sell rooms. And apart from this sales of rooms, also the front office has to reserve rooms for guests very much prior to the arrival and also register guests into the hotel as soon as they have arrived, assign rooms, coordinate with other services of the hotel, that is with other departments, namely the food and beverage and the housekeeping department. Control of all guest room keys is with the front office department, and also provide in-house and external information to guests is done by this section, and also maintaining guest accounts and settle their bills accurately is maintained by this front office section. To fulfill all these responsibilities, the front office is broken down into different sections with distinct roles in these sections. And now we will look into all these sections in detail. The first important one is reservations. You all must be familiar with this term. Most hotel bookings are made through reservations because travelers come from different outstations and very few would be a walk-in, which means these guests do visit the food service without any prior reservations. The large chain hotels may have its own centralized reservation systems, which is a single point where all reservations of the chain are made, while the independent hotels may subscribe subscribe to an international reservation too, and this is open to any hotel that subscribes to it through online reservations. The principal role of this reservation section is to book the reserved rooms in advance. The principal role of the reservations is to reserve the rooms in advance, that is booking the rooms in advance, maximize the sale of the rooms, process properly, document and retrieve the reservation informations whenever required from various other departments in order to ensure the guest gets the room at the time of arrival without making the guest to wait long, and also to upsell the rooms to extra cost and an extra rupees, and work closely with the sales and marketing division to ensure the process of room sales and also to maximize the revenue for the hotel. This is all about this department. And now another busy section of the front office department is the reception. The receptionist registers guests and assigns rooms on the arrival of the guest. The main task of the reservation are to welcome the guests on behalf of the hotel, complete all the registration formalities, especially the billing informations, that is the method of payment for the cashier to process during the guest stay, and it will be ready during the checkout of the guests. Reception must issue keys and also receive them back after the guest stay. And also this important duty is be a constant source of guest information, mail and messages, as this is the point of contact for the guests during the visit in the hotel. And also the reception desk should have a multitask that will happen in all hotels, either small or large. Now we will see about another vital function of the front office, which is telecommunications. As we all know, communication is gaining faster and faster. We are all in a speed round world. Telecommunication section is usually near the reception section and is normally involved in operating all the incoming and the outgoing calls of the hotel. It is of a paramount importance as the operator attends the call promptly and link with the appropriate departments for the requested services by the guest, and also make local and international calls directly onto online guest office rooms, post call charges automatically into the guest folio accounts, play an important role in case of accidents and natural calamities like fire, and keep the hotel connected within and outside the hotel in case of all emergencies, and also have the message indicators or the telephone instructions like the caller IDs, do not disturb boards, room to room connections, call waiting options, wake up call services and alarm systems, which are all communicated through this important communication department, telecommunications. To add on to the telecommunications department, there is also another department which works simultaneously, is the mail and information center. This department handles the mails and messages and informations on behalf of the guest and the hotel, and is an important responsibility of the staff to pass the message to the guests. All incoming mails are divided into three categories. Number 1 is hotel mail, number 2 staff mail, and number 3 is guest mail. Hotel mail is normally distributed to all departments concerned, and departments work according to the mail received from the guest. The second one is the staff mail, and this mail is generally put on the mail board through the personnel office to make into notice of all staffs, the guests and also the employees. And the third one is the guest mail, which consists of resident guest mail, either the past guest or the future guest, and also sometimes the stay guests. All guest mails are segregated to see that the mails reach the guest on time. And now we will see the different guest mails. The first one is mail for the resident guest, mail for the past guest, and mail for the future guests. And now we will see the mails for the resident guests, that is the guests who stay with us in the hotel. Letters should be placed in the key racks, and if there are any parcels that is bigger than this size, these have to be kept in the appropriate places, and note has to be put on the key rack and delivered to the guest when he or she comes to the room. The second one is mail for the past guests who have checked out already. Guests prior to departing are required to complete a mail forwarding card which contains the address of the guest. This helps to redirect the mails to the given address in the card if they receive any mails after the checkout of the guests. And the next is mail for the future guests. Details of the guest arrival data are obtained from the reservation desk, and this date is written on the cover of the guest. A note is also recorded in the guest registration file to keep in track to see that the mails are given during the check-in process of the guest later. This mail is then stored in the secured cupboard or a place and then given to the guest on the arrival without failure. This is how the mails are handled, and the guest mails are handled very much carefully. The other section is the guest relations desk. This is also gaining momentum as nowadays the service industries are mainly the customer oriented services. The guest relations executive is the representative of the management that ensure the comfort and convenience of all guests, which is normally done by a well-groomed or a personal woman. The principal task of the guest relations executive, who is termed as GRE, is to attend the comfort of the VIPs and other important guests in the hotel. And also the guest relations executive provide all internal regulations to enhance the perception of the hotel in the eyes of the guest. Maintain guest history records either manually or electronically and respond to the guest needs and behavior in the high standards of service. And also coordinate well with the concierge in procuring city services like booking of tickets, making of table reservations, and so on is also coordinated by this desk, guest relations office. Next function is the uniformed services. This function of uniformed services comprises lobby desk, bell desk, and concierge. Now let us see each of these in detail. Lobby desk. The lobby manager is the representative of the general manager at all times during the day and night, and the main task of this lobby section is to coordinate all guest services from a central point and handle all guest complaints and disputes, interpret and safeguard all house policies with guests, evict undesirable guests from the premises, ensure proper baggage handling services to the guests, ensure order in the lobby, and maintain the sole representative of management in the night and day and 24 hours round the clock. This is the function of the lobby desk. And now we will see what is done by bell desk. The main tasks are to coordinate the movement of the guest baggage. This is a real challenge as the volumes of baggage during a single day is very large for the busy hotel. And also the bell boys carry out errands and different services for the guests and management within the hotel prescriptions, and also they does the errand jobs like selling stamps and getting things for the guest, which is all managed by this desk, bell desk, with the help of bell boys. And also an important and emerging trend is concierge. The concierge was castle doorkeeper who was responsible to ensure that the guests were properly roomed for the night. The concierge accompanied the traveling royalty and provided them with security lodging arrangements and also entertainment sites. His main tasks are to provide information to the guests about the city and local stations, facilitate guests requirements, box office tickets are booked, and offer mails and messaging services are all coordinated by this desk, which is the concierge. And now we will move on to the next section of the front office, which is an important section that takes care of all the travel needs, which is the transport section, which is sometimes called as travel desk. It is common nowadays to see hotels transport waiting at airports for guests with reservations at the properly. This is free service which is given for mainly the VIPs and CIPs, for others and airline crew members and large groups bookings and transports which are owned by the hotel or sometimes even leased and contracted. In order to facilitate this process of transport by the transport desk or the travel desk, transports may be owned by the hotel, leased or contracted out to transport companies, and here the drivers become the first physical contact for the guest. And the property of those arriving by the air, the drivers therefore have to be licensed, knowledgeable about the hotel property, and also when arriving by air, the drivers play an important role in picking up the guests to the hotel property. And they should also have the rules like they must drive safely and all observe all the traffic rules while they bring the guests to the hotel. Another important function of the front desk is foreign currency exchange. Many of the hotels have a high proportion of the overseas guests, that is the foreign nationals, and they will have foreign exchange services needed. Hotel exchanges the foreign currencies for the local currency, and also hotel updates the currency exchange rates from a reliable source, usually a bank, and transacts according to the changes. Exchange rates of the foreign currencies are to be displayed on the board with an authorization number given to the hotel by the Reserve Bank of India. It is important for the staff in this section to know the common currencies and the procedure in handling these currencies to the guests. While handling these foreign currencies, the cashier should have a check with the current exchange rates and see whether the exchange rates are updated. Issue a report to the guest and a copy at the desk quoting each transaction of the guest with guest name, room number, passport number, and also the exchange rate that has happened for that particular transaction. And also arrange for the foreign currency to be banked on the following day on a separate pay-in slip, as the exchange rates may vary for each currency and each day. This is how the currency exchanges are done in this section, foreign currency exchanges. Another important section and function of the front desk is having and maintaining a safe deposit locker. A hotel is liable for loss of guest property while they stay, and hence this facility of the safe deposit lockers are available in all hotels irrespective of whether they are small or large. This is kept under the control of the assistant front office manager in a safe place and is usually near to his cabin. The guest may keep under the lock and key all the valuables, especially such as the passport, the jewelries, currencies, and so on, must be handed over to the safety locker system. And next we shall move on to see another important function of this desk, front desk, which is the security services. Security is the protection of all assets including the hotel property and as well the guest's property. Hotels have different types of security alerts which function, and is the front office staff who should know and give importance for all these security measures. The guest belongings in the hotel hotel is an important and hence a safe key control systems must always be adopted. These include the conventional key systems, and also nowadays everything is replaced to the electronic key system. Now we will see what is this conventional and electronic key system. The conventional key system happens when a guest checks in. They are usually given a key card, that is a key envelope, by the receptionist along with the room key. A hotel will often issue a room key to the room even if there are more number of guests in the room. Duplicate keys must be kept separately, and the front desk should have a record of keys and that all keys are accounted and no keys are missing. If the key is lost, it must be informed to the front desk very much immediately as a part of the security system. And nowadays all hotels have replaced this conventional key system with the electronic key system. Here most of the hotels now use this system, which is the electronic key system. The keys are generated with the master control at the front desk during check-in using the property management systems, the softwares that help in this process. These keys are randomly coded and the unique code is transmitted to the room lock. This key card is similar to a credit card and also serves a dual purpose as key holder and also the power tag. The electrically based operations in the room is activated only when this tag is inserted to the point, thus saving electricity and also the undesired use of the equipments in the rooms such as televisions, air conditioners and so on when the guests are not in the room. This key is active till the check-out and is reprogrammed with another code for the next check-in even for the same room, and if it is needed, thus has a good control on the security aspects to the guest belongings and also the safety of the hotel premises. And now we will see another important back house activity, which is the front office accounting. The objective of the hotel is to provide facilities and services. The objective of the hotel is to provide facilities and services for guests. In return, also this is money minded, ultimately to make a profit and to ensure that the guest bills are ready, properly settled. Hotels need to have an accurately and constantly updated records of all guests to maintain these financial transactions. Every staff in this front office should learn about the main functions of accounts, different types of guest accounts and the basic accounting cycle, a procedure in which the accounts are maintained, posting of these charges in appropriate accounts, credit to guest accounts and verify the posting to tally and the accounting procedure is done accurate and timely. Now let us see the main function of accounts and its systems. Each and every day hotel engages in large number of transactions with guests, and in addition to using rooms and food and beverage operations, guests may use services and facilities in other departments too during their stay, such as they may have laundry services needed, room services from the food and beverage section, business center, help from the telephone section, etc. And most occasions guests do not have to pay for the services very much immediately, but what happens is it is immediately added on to the guest folio. Instead, they may be provided with services on credit and they pay for it during the checkout of the guest, and this is all added into the billing. The main functions of the front office accounting system is to maintain an accurate and current record of all the guest transactions, provide an effective internal control by monitoring credit given to guests, and also prevent fraudulent staff practices, if any, happening within the premises, and also provide management information on the department revenue. The specific duties of the front office cashier are prepare and compile the guest accounts, administer the safe deposit systems, and offer foreign exchange facilities whenever requested by the guest. And now we will see what are the different types of accounts maintained by this front office cashier. Number one is resident guest accounts. So as we know, resident guests mean the guests who stay with us. Most of the accounts held by the front office cashier are the resident guest accounts, which shows the financial transactions with the guests who have registered and currently stay with us in the hotel. Some of the resident guests may have their accommodation charges settled by their company while they settle only the incident accounts themselves. And in these situations, resident guests have two folios, mainly the master accounts and the incidental accounts. Next accounts is city accounts. These city accounts record financial transactions between the hotel and the non-resident guests. Local business people who are not resident in the hotel but who may use the hotel facilities and services, especially for entertainment or business meetings, are all under this city accounts. And the third one is management accounts. Management accounts or expense accounts or allowances given by some hotels or executives and managers of the hotel, and these accounts are used to entertain guests and the potential clients, and these are categorized into this accounts, which is the management accounts. Now we will see about the front office accounting cycle. The first important function of this front office accounting system is to maintain an accurate and up-to-date record of all the financial transactions between the hotel and the guest, so that all outstanding accounts are settled without any delay and loss of revenue to the hotel. From this, it can be seen that the front office accounting process can be divided into three main phases, namely, number one, creation of accounts, and number two, maintenance of accounts, and number three, settlement of accounts. Now, let us see each of these steps in detail. The first step being creation of accounts. A guest account of folio is usually created immediately after the guest checks in. The part of the check-in procedure is to enter the guest details into the computer, which is automatically open an account, or to open the guest account manually also. The credit limits and the house limits are often spelled out and set, which means that guests may not charge more than the preset amount to their accounts. The second one is maintenance of accounts. Once the guest account has been opened and all financial transactions between the hotel and the guest will be recorded on this particular account of the guest folio. The act of recording and transacting onto the guest account is called as posting. And now we will see the last section of accounting, which is the settlement of accounts, and this is very much important too. The accounts are settled by cash or sometimes even credit settlements. Cash settlements include settlement by the local currencies, that is in our rupees, and foreign currencies when it is used, the services are used by the foreign nationals and overseas guests, and sometimes the accounts may be settled by cash using the traveler's checks, personal checks, bank cards, and sometimes credit settlements also may happen, and this includes settlements by company or through corporates, travel agents, and all these will become credit settlements. These are the main and essential functions of the front desk system. These are the main and important function of the front office department. Now, as a conclusion to this module, the importance of delivering the quality service in the hotel is very much important and is much more important for the front office department. Therefore, the front office department has to function round the clock 24 hours with effective function and customize the services for each guest. The commitment of the staffs will directly benefit the success of the hotel and also gain a good repute among the customers. The review of the resources available in the hotel, especially the first resource, the manpower, must be considered in par with the other resources, namely machine, method, material, minute, money and market, to meet the objective of the hotel of making profits by rendering a great hospitality services to the guests. Hope you remember the important functions of the front office department. Go through the other quadrants of this module for complete reference of this module. Thank you, students.